Today's lunch learner is the memory of Yitzchak ben Chaim, and Elias Neshama. Where to begin? You know, like sometimes in life we're so used to things, we take things for granted. It's almost like the lullaby effect. I'll give you an example. You ever heard the words of a lullaby? You know, rock-a-bye baby on the treetop. When the wind blows, the cradle will rock. When the bow breaks, the cradle will fall, and down will come baby and all. Cradle, baby, whatever it is. I don't know. I'm not so good at these things. Like, that's pretty gory. And imagine that's the song that we sing to put our children to bed. That's crazy. Imagine if your child was like intelligent. They'd say, "Wait, Mom, Dad, are you saying you want to kill me? Are you saying, like, is the mother psycho and tied their baby up to a tree?" And I think to some extent, that's the effect that the Haggadah has on us. We've heard it so many times. We're so familiar with the text. It has a lullabying effect. We've almost become numbed because we're so used to it. And what I want to do today is kind of really understand what is one of the main messages, what I think of the entire Seder and the entire Exodus and the entire narrative. What's it really all about? It's going to require doing a lot of comparing and analyzing different sources and a lot of themes. And the idea is, if we wake up and smell the Torah, we'll really appreciate what I think is the underlying theme in the entire narrative. Okay? And if you think I'm wrong, too bad. Okay. Take a look. Let's go back to source number 1. We say in the Haggadah, Mitchilav de avodei zara yu avotenu. In the beginning, our forefathers were idol worshippers. V'achshav karvanu makom lavodato. And now God has brought us close, as it says. When we are Shuel kol ha'am, and Joshua speaks to the people and says, yes, take a look at our heritage. The God of our forefathers. We originally lived in Aver Nahar, and we dwelled there and we lived there. Remember Terach, who's the father of Abraham, right? They served idols. V'yavdu Elohim achirim. And remember, it all starts with Abraham. This whole evening starts with Abraham. What does it start with Abraham? Well, way back when, Abraham was told the promise. And what was Abraham told, ladies? Well, take a look at what we say in the Haggadah. Just, skip down to Baruch Shomer Avtachato Yisrael, source 2. Hakadosh Baruch Hu Chishav et haketz lasot kamo she'amar l'Avraham Avinu b'Brit ben Abtarim. God, is revealing son to Abraham about the end of days, at the Brit ben Abtarim, back in Breshit. V'yomer l'Avraham, Abraham, I want to tell you a secret. Yadoa teda ki ger yezaracha be'eretz lo lahem. Your children will be foreigners. V'avadum. They will work and they'll be enslaved, and they're going to suffer. These people will make them suffer and will enslave them for 400 years. But don't worry, Abraham. V'gam et hagoy asher yavodu. Those people that will oppress you, don't worry. I'm going to judge them. And after all, you're going to leave a millionaire. V'achrechein yitzu b'rechush gadol. So if I was really cynical, I would look at this and I would say, God. If I was Abraham and I was really cynical, I'd say, God, let's cut a deal right now. Make a deal with you. No slavery. No redemption. And we'll call it a day. Meaning, the fact that we were enslaved went down to Egypt. That's what it says in Brit ben Abtarim, no? We were enslaved in Egypt. And you know what? God was so kind and so considerate and so compassionate, and He loved us and He redeemed us. But forget it. God's not compassionate or considerate. God's sadistic. Because who takes people that they love and say, I'm going to do to you guys? I'm going to make you really suffer. I'll make you suffer. For generations. But don't worry. I'll take you out. Don't worry about it. That's not a good deal. Why doesn't... And this is dark. Remember the Psukim? What are the Psukim like? Take a look at source 4. Right? This is the actual context of Ripon and Tarim. Right? And the Psukim don't go back to back. I edited a little bit just to get you the idea behind it. And what is Vayomer? And Abraham asks Hashem, how do I know that I'm going to inherit? And there's this whole process of Ripon and Tarim. And the revealing of this is dark. The sun sets and everyone was into some type of trance. Right? And Avraham is this moment of darkness. And what happens? That's when God says to Avraham, and that's exactly what we read in the Haggadah. But don't worry, I'll get those guys. And you'll leave like a multimillionaire. And the 4th generation will come back home. Again, what's going on? Is it a joke? Don't cut a deal. Don't enslave. Don't redeem. We'll call it even. This is a very difficult theological question. Very difficult theological question. And I think, to some extent, you've got to ask yourself, we say it at the Haggadah, we're so used to hearing it, we accept it as fait accompli, and we don't question, and we need to question. After all, it's a night of questions. What is the text that we use to fulfill the mitzvah? This is, by the way, a whole shiur in of itself. I might actually spend a lot of time on this tomorrow if you're around, at 12:30. What is the text we fulfill the mitzvah of Sipur Yetziat Mitzrayim? I have in my hand over here 4 pages. It's really nicely done. There's English and everything, right? With little box. This is the entire text of Magid. You know, Magid's like pretty long, right? This is the entire text, 95% of the entire text. I broke it down into 11 different sections in Hebrew and then in English. And I made it look really pretty. This came out a little better. Where do we fulfill the mitzvah of Sipur Yetziat Mitzrayim? Like, what are the words that we actually tell the narrative? When do we do it? Maybe that should have been this year. That'd be part 2. That'll be tomorrow's topic. Right? If you want, 12:30. You know when? All right, I'll just give you the answer. This way you can come tomorrow. I could prove it to you and discuss it. But it actually is buried all the way down here. It's a good question. Now, this is like where you actually fulfill the mitzvah. The biblical mitzvah of Sipur Yetziat Mitzrayim. It is actually fulfilled through Tzeil Mad, which quotes 4 psukim that a farmer recites when he brings his bikurim to the Beis Hamikdash. And those 4 psukim, which that you do have in front of you, are then expounded and explained by Chazal, giving you the Magid section. How anticlimactic. Sorry, that's the way it goes. But the message is so powerful. That is what you have in source number 3. Source number 3 are the psukim that are used and recited by the farmer. And I want to add this to our question. And the question is, why is it that Chazal, in their infinite wisdom, said, to fulfill the mitzvah of Sipur Yetziat Mitzrayim, he got it to Lebincha. The most important evening, perhaps, of the entire year, that's majestical. Where anybody who has been part of such a moment feels the intensity and the power and the magnitude of the Seder. To fulfill the mitzvah, we read these psukim. So again, the psukim come from Devarim, at the end of Chumash, at the end of the Torah. And this is when a farmer brings his first fruits, or she brings her first fruits, the bikurim, of Shivat HaMinim. There's a mitzvah not just to bring bikurim, but also to say these words. It's one of the few places in the Torah where it says, at this moment, say these words. Although we say that Shema is from the Torah, it's really hard to see that from the Psukim. But not these words. These words are clear. And what are the words? And again, I want to highlight this, because it is so, we don't even realize it. Maybe some people won't be here tomorrow. And this is really important, because the Seder is 2 weeks tonight. This is Sipur Yetziat Mitzrayim. And again, if you can come tomorrow, we're going to expand on it even more and understand the Haggadah, and it's also in a different way. In source number 3, Vayakita volar, eventually you're going to make the land of Israel, Moshe is telling the people. And God has promised you an inheritance. You're going to live there, you're going to dwell there. And Pasuk Bet, and you're going to take from your first fruits from all the vegetation, which Chazal tell us is only from Shivat HaMinim, the fruits of Shivat HaMinim. So your pomegranates and your grapes and your figs. Not your kiwi and not your orange, Jaffa oranges. V'samta baten, you place it in a basket, you're going to go to the place. Ubata, you're going to arrive at the Kohen Shir, wherever that may be from our Love, and you're going to tell them, Higadati. Oh, see the word magid in there? Higadati. I've arrived, I've said, very complicated to translate it. Kibati ala arshu nishpashem lavotina tetlanu. And the Kohen will then take the basket and he's going to place it in the Mizbeach. Pasuk Hey. Va'anita va'amarta. Here we go, ladies. Say these words at this moment. What are the words? And we say this at the Seder and we expound on them. Arami ovei Ravi. My father was a wandering Armenian. Or, an Armenian wanted to destroy my father. Rashi says that's the interpretation. That's based on the Gemara. That's Lavan. Or if you want to tell me that my father was a wandering Armenian, that's referring to, as the Sforno says, referring to Yaakov Avinu. Meaning, Yaakov Avinu was an Armenian, because where did he live for many years? In Aram, right? We'll have to talk about that further in a few minutes. And what happened? Continue reading. Vayever Mitzrayim, he went down to Egypt, Vayargo Sham, and he lived there. Bimtei Ma'at. And then we turned into a great nation, right? Right? And the Egyptians afflicted us, and gave us hard work. We cried to God. God heard our prayer. He saw our suffering and our torture. God took us out with a strong hand with miracles and signs and brought us to this place of Zavad Chalav Udvash. Okay. No one gets that joke. That's fine. What I'm trying to say is, we have to ask us another question. Why did Chazal choose that to fulfill the mitzvah of Sipur Yitzet Mitzrayim on that night? We're going to use the psukim that the farmer says. How odd. Why not just read the original story? Read Shemot Va'era Bo B'Shalach. Read it live! Why are you reading what a farmer says at the end of the Torah? He brings the first... I mean, don't get me wrong, it happens to be 4 verses that are nice, but it's a nice synopsis of the whole story. Right? That's very odd that Chazal would go there. And Rav Soloveitchik, who answers this question, as many commentators say, you know why we do the farmer? We do the farmer because the farmer has a tremendous sense of hakarat hatov, appreciation. He looks back on the benevolence that God gave him and the bounty, and therefore he can say thank you to God. And that's what we need to do at the Seder. We also need to say thank you. But there's a problem with that, and the problem is what we asked originally. Don't put us in, and don't take us out. So why did this whole farmer, going specifically to the end of the Torah, we're missing something very vital. So, I want to point out something which I think is going to begin to unlock the mystery. Here we go. Unlock part A. Yaakov Avinu. Anyone know, where did Yaakov find himself? Well, let's go back. Brit Ben Abtarim. Did it identify the country or the nation where Bnei Israel will live or will be enslaved? Nothing. No, nothing identified. I said Egypt. But the Torah does not identify anything, does it? No. Interesting. You know why that's interesting? Rav Soloveitchik says the following. The forefathers, all of the Avot, knew of the promise of Brit Ben Abtarim. They had no idea when it was going to come to fulfillment. Avram knew about it, Yisroel knew about it, Yaakov knew about it. It was always in their mind that there was going to be a dark and difficult time. And that's not so unusual. Now, remember what it says about the 4th generation? What does it say about the 4th generation in Brit Ben Abtarim? What does it say? V'dor Revi'i what? Dor Revi'i will? Yashuvu Hena will return here. We'll come back home. I want you to take a look at source 5, Pasuk Kaf Hey. Vayikasher Yoda Rachel et Yosef v'yomer ela Yaakov Lavan Shalchini v'ocha el mekom yolartzi. The moment that Yaakov has Yosef, and what is Yosef? his only full, real son. We know the story. The son of his beloved wife, Rachel. The moment Yosef is born, Yaakov says, it's time to go home. Maybe Yaakov sees himself as Vidor, Revi'i, Yeshuvu, Hina. Now, if that was the only thing that was similar, that would just be a coincidence. But let's read through Yaakov's life, and we are going to see how everything with Yaakov's life is a fulfillment of Brit Ben Abtarim. Take a look at this. I mentioned this 4 years ago in this room. None of you were here. Which is good, unless you're in graduate school or you're not so smart. Okay, so let's go verse number 5. What did he say? Send me home. I want to go home. Right? Give me my children. Let's go back. Lavan says, maybe. Look at Mem Gimel. You'll notice I edited a lot there. Look at Mem Gimel. When Yaakov leaves, how does Yaakov leave? A tremendous amount of wealth. That's what it says. Vayifrot sa'ish me'od me'od. V'lotzon rabot u'shvachot v'vadim u'gon liv'chamorim. What does it say in Brit Ben Abtarim? V'achrechen yitz'u b'chush gadol. Second fulfillment of Brit Ben Abtarim. 1, Dor Revi'i Yeshuv Hena. 2, Achrechen yitz'u b'chush gadol. But that's not it, ladies. There's so much more. Go to source number 6. 6. Vayignov Yaakov et leiv Lavan Arami ad b'li higilo ki borechu. Vayivrach hu Yaakov runs away. Vayakom yavor ta nahar vayasem et panav har Gilad. Where do they meet up? Where do Yaakov and Lavan meet up? This is not Brit Ben Abtarim. You know what this sounds like? Well, where do Bnei Yisrael and Mitzrayim meet up? By the water, by the Yam Suf. Yaakov and Lavan meet up at the exact same place. They also meet up by a body of water. Let's continue. Pasuk Chav Bet. Vayugad Lavan bayom hashlishi ki barach Yaakov. And it was told to Lavan that Yaakov ran away on day 3. Oh my goodness. Who else ran away and was told on day 3? Of course, flip the page. Top, page 7. The only place in Chumash. Vayugad l'melech Mitzrayim ki barach ha'am. Vayugad l'melech Mitzrayim ki barach ha'am is exact same words as Vayugad Yaakov at love. Vayugad Lavan ki b'yamashi barach Yaakov. It's the exact same pasuk written twice, but of course it just changes. What's changed? Yaakov is a place with Bnei Yisrael. Lavan is a place with Paro. The Torah is screaming and shouting. The Yaakov and Lavan story are parallel to the story of Yetziat Mitzrayim. But we're not done yet. We're not done yet. Again, I can show you more verbs that are similar. Look at Chav Gimel, back to source 6. Vayikach et echav imo. Vayirdav achav derech shivat yamim. Lavan gathers and takes his brethren and chases after them for 7 days. Go back to source 7. Wow. What does he do? Again, he takes his people. He chases, right? That's tet. That's vav, zayin, chet, tet. He chases. He grabs. He confronts. All the verbs are very, very similar. How many years were Bnei Yisrael in prison for? How many years did Bnei Yisrael end up being enslaved? It's not 400. The math doesn't add up. How many years? 210 years. Isn't that interesting? How many years did Yaakov work for his father-in-law? 21. What's the difference? Not a difficult question. Multiply by 10. Unbelievable. 210 years, 21 years. The Torah is saying, I would like to argue, as Rav Soloveitchik says, the fulfillment of Brit Ben Abtarim could have been the story of Yaakov with Lavan. That would have been sufficient. We see the Torah points to it. It's saying, this is the way it could have been and should have been. After all, there's exile, there's suffering, there's torture, there's redemption. And after all, Dor Revi'i Yeshuvu Hena, the 4th generation comes home with tremendous wealth. And boy, does Lavan get what he deserves. Dan Anochi, boy, does he get judged. for cheating and being a liar and a deceiver to his own son-in-law. We all know what happens. It's not the fulfillment. It's not what ends up happening. And why not? Turn the page, source number 8. The Torah tells us, Vayeshev Yaakov, Beretz Mugureviv, Beretz Canaan. The Torah says that Yaakov dwells in the land of Canaan. Says Rashi, quotes Chazal, Vayeshev, Bikesh Yaakov, Leishev B'Shalva. Yaakov wanted, it's over. Maybe this is fulfillment of brief of time. Maybe it's time to come home. We're here. We're going to inherit the land of Israel. Who knows? We're going to build the Beit HaMikdash. It's over. It's it. It doesn't happen. We all know what happens in Parshat Vayeshev, source number 8 at the end. Kafatz alav rozlo shel Yosef. It wasn't going to be. There's going to be a sale and a persecution of Yosef. Why is it that we went down to Mitzrayim? How did we get there? God didn't bring us there. We brought ourselves there. We brought it on to ourselves. Perhaps one can argue it could have and it should have been the fulfillment with Yaakov Avinu. It could have been, but it wasn't. Do you know why it wasn't? Because brothers sold a brother. It wasn't because of what we did to Yosef. It was we were jealous of the firstborn, right? The firstborn, we know what happens. The brothers were jealous of Yosef. Yosef had an issue with the brothers. Next thing you know, Yosef's taken and he's sold down to Mitzrayim. You know what's really neat? How did Yaakov get himself to exile? What did Yaakov do to find himself out in Mesopotamia? He also cheated his own brother, didn't he? Yaakov cheated his brother Esau. Took the birthright from him, lied to his own father, deceived his own father. That's how Yaakov found himself in exile. Wait a second. What did the brothers do to their own father? They also deceived their own father. Lied to him, covered it up. To some extent, again, it's our own fault. It's Yaakov's own fault that maybe he wasn't the fulfillment of Brit Ben Abtarim. Because he got himself in that situation in the first place. And the next generation, the first time there's exile, it's because of deception having to do with a brother and brotherly hatred, and having to lie to your father, deceive your father, causing exile. The second time, also, the same theme is repeated. Deceiving your father, hatred of a brother, causing him to go into exile. But that is just a little bit, a couple of parallels. There's dozens of similarities between these two stories. And we've mentioned them again over the past years in various Yirim, and we're going to highlight them again right now, very quickly. Well, here we go. To save a little bit of time, because we don't have that much time, you tell me, what are some of the parallels that happens with the deception, how Yaakov deceives his own father, and how the brothers deceive their own father? There's deception. What else is there? A goat. There's a goat. Wonderful. There's a goat in the story of Yaakov. What happens? Because Yaakov makes goats to give to his father. And where's the deception? Goats are always the instrument of deception. Goats were used to deceive Yitzchak, and the blood of a goat was used to deceive Yaakov. That's what the brothers did. They took Yosef's Ketonet Pasim and dipped it in blood. They asked, hey, Dad, Hakerna, Ketonet Bincha Olo. Is this your son's tunic or not? What are the other parallels between the deception of Yitzchak and the deception of Yaakov? Besides goats and coats. Very good. Both cases, there's coats. What does Yaakov wear on his body to deceive his father that he's hairy? He has to wear a coat of his brother. And look what happens in the story of Mechirat Yosef. The brothers take a coat and also dip it and have to cover it in blood to trick their father. Goats and coats in both stories. And it happens to rhyme in English. That works well in Hebrew. Anything else? Well, I can point out number 9. There's also food in both stories. Food is the center, also the deception. Well, after Yosef is sold, take a look in source 9 was underlined. Chavhei vayeshvu lecho lechem. They both sit. They sit as brothers after they've thrown him into a pit and they have dinner. How disgusting. The brothers screaming in the pit and they're having shawarma. There's no water in this pit. Here we go. Another theme we can think of is also other words as well appear, but I need to move on. Of course, ladies. If how we got to Egypt in the first place is because of goats and coats and deceptions, the only way we're going to get out of Mitzrayim is if we learn our message of goats and coats and deceptions. But this time, it's with honesty. This time, it's with sincerity. We do not get redeemed from Egypt unless we do something. See, what happens in like all the movies of the Prince of Egypt, the Ten Commandments, they edit anything that's too technical because they don't know how to deal with it. The Torah doesn't do that. You see, this is what happens in the Torah. After the 9th plague, Moshe and Paro have a very awkward conversation. You know what they say? Moshe tells Paro, we're going to go, and not only are we going to go to the desert to worship God, but you're going to supply the animals. Paro goes crazy and says, get out of here. I don't want to speak to you again. Moshe's like, have it your way. And walks out. As Moshe leaves the palace, God gives him a prophecy. Where is this prophecy? Top of page 12. Vayomer Hashem Moshe, Od negach araviyah Paro v'Mitzrayim, v'achrechen yishalach etchem mizeh k'shacho, kala giresh yigaresh etchem mizeh. So this is in the Prince of Egypt, by the way. I don't know if you remember. As he leaves the palace, he does get this nevuah, but not nearly with this detail. And we all know what essentially the nevuah consists of. Consists of essentially the wealth and the money. And the next perek, which is perek Yud Bet. Hashem tells Moshe, Dabru kol dabni solimor besor lachodesh hazeh, on the 10th day, vayikchu lahem ish se lebeit avot selabayit. Everyone must take for themselves. Take! What's a se in English? A sheep. Lamb, a sheep, right? Per household. What happens if, like, we just can't eat our own set? We're, like, too small of a family. Or we're not big carnivores. What do? Answer, no problem. Well, the Greenberg goes with the Kleinbergs, we'll with the Shields, that way we'll all, finish one goat. I didn't mean to say goat. I meant to say sheep. We'll all finish one sheep. Let's continue reading. B'michsat nefashot. This is very strange language. What generally does the word michsat nefashot usually mean? What's the root word probably of michsat nefashot? Kisui, no? A cover. Well, that's interesting because the brothers, the kisinu et damo, they wanted to hide Yosef's blood. You see, this is going to be an episode of not hiding blood, as we know. This is about revealing blood. They wanted to hide the blood and trick with blood, and as we know from the story of Pesach Mitzrayim, it's all about not hiding blood, but bringing the blood out and being public about it, and not being scared and not being worried, but being open. Ish tafiach lo tachosu alaseh. Set tamim zachar ben shnei yalachem min akvasim umin ha'izim tikachu. All of a sudden, Moshe says, yeah, you could bring a sheep, a lamb, but also you can bring an izim. You can also bring a goat. Once again, we see the goats have returned. in Egypt. Interesting how the Torah uses goats even though they all brought a lamb. But the Torah says, for whatever reason, it's very, very strange that somehow you're allowed to bring a goat even though you got to bring a sheep. Or a lamb, sorry, a lamb. You will eat it barbecued with matzah and maror. Maror appears in all of the stories. When Esau finds out that he was deceived, what does he scream out? What does he shout out? What? Take a look, 11 at the end. Vaitzak tzaka gdola umara. By the way, just like Mordechai. That's the next parallel. Very good. Esau screams out with bitterness as well. We see that bitterness is mentioned again. When Moshe tells this narrative over to the people, wait, did I forget anything? So you have to have a meal, right? You got to have a meal. Well, we know there's a meal in all the stories. The brothers have a meal. Now, here's what's interesting. If we want to get out of Egypt, you know what we need to do? We need to have a meal with our brothers and our family. Maybe it's with the Greenbergs, and Shields all eating together. But this is not the meal that the brothers had after they threw Yosef in the pit. This is a totally different type of meal. This is you're inviting people and reaching out, saying, come, let's have dinner together tonight. That's a totally different type of meal than it was by Yosef. Or the meal that Yaakov prepared for his father also with the guise of deception. But this is a different meal. This is a meal that's going to help us get us out of Mitzrayim. Because after all, we got in one way, we need to get out a totally different way. No leftovers. Lo tutzu mimenu ad boker. Oh, sorry. Tet. Al tachlu mimenu na. Don't eat it. By the way, what does na mean? What? Nah, don't eat it raw. What, I was going to eat it raw? Bashel muvusha b'mayim. Don't eat it cooked. And as I say, cooking is a medium of water. Mayim. Where does mayim appear in the story of Yosef? V'borek ein bo mayim. Don't use water. In the story of Egypt, when you want to when you want to cook your animal, also, don't use water. Ki imsi esh, only barbecue, or show al kra'av al kirbo, open, spit, delicious, right? Public. You don't barbecue in your house. You'll die of smoke inhalation. You gotta barbecue publicly, out and about. We are publicly demonstrating what we are doing. We're not hiding. We're not being deceptive. Lo determinate boker, no leftovers. Well, what happened the next morning by Yosef? He also wasn't left over. He was yanked out, right? It's a machloket, exactly what happened there. But Reuben comes back the next day and he says, hey, where's Yosef? Niba, wait a second, this is terrible. I had a plan, it didn't work. He's not here. He's gone. There are no leftovers. To some extent, Yosef wasn't left over, and the food also can't be left over. It's a little bit of a stretch. But it's time to burn it. If anything's left over, just disintegrate it. This is how you're going to eat it. I want you to eat it dressed up, and you're ready to go. Well, the chipazon, the brothers were also ready to go. Yaakov was ready to go. Yitzhak was ready to go. They're ready to go because they had to run, they had to hide, they had to escape. And so too Bnei Yisrael now, they're not going to be. They're going to leave like with majesty, right? Okay, they will get kind of somewhat chased out, but not really chased out. And anyways, we're planning on leaving that way. Okay, we're getting there. Yud Gimel. Right? The blood will be a sign. Of course, it's so obvious. And how are we going to get this blood? Go to Chavbet. Take some hyssop. Whatever that is. You're going to take the blood of this korban and you're going to place it on the mezuzot, the mashkaf, and the saf. The saf is a threshold. All four sides of the door. We need to recognize that what we did to our brother, where we hid his blood, and we tricked with blood, now we have to say, we are going to reveal the blood. It's almost like therapy. It's like going through an intense session of therapy, saying all the things that brought me here, all the negative traits, all the things of deception and of hatred, I don't brush them and sweep them under the carpet. I deal with them. And I use them in a positive way, in a positive setting. And I connect them to something that's good for the Jewish people, for Am Yisrael to go forward. Because after all, we got here because of all these negative things. And I got to take all those negative things and now make them positive and channel them and make them productive. And that's what Bnei Yisrael are doing in Mitzrayim. And again, it's mentioned over and over again. Right? Ubanecha, your children, v'akirmu lechem b'nechem. It's a story that you tell your children. Your children sometimes rebel against their father. That's how it was Yitzchak, that's how it was Yaakov, that's how it was Yosef and the brothers. But the father says there's a way to come back home. There's a way that you can have Geula. And again, it's about the firstborn. Who's the firstborn that gets hit that night? The firstborn of the Egyptians. And it was all about the firstborn, how we got to Mitzrayim. Talk about the Geula, the redemption of Bnei Israel. Right? The Ga'alti Etzchem B'Zron Netuya. We want to talk about redemption. What is real redemption? Real redemption doesn't mean that we just walk out. Real redemption, real healing, is if we can take those things that were difficult and challenging and dark and inappropriate and wrong and face them and confront them and channel them and improve on them, that will get us out of Mitzrayim. I think that, to some extent, is what the message of the Seder night is all about. And we confront those challenges. And if that's true, we'll now understand what we started with. Let's go back. What did we say in the beginning? I tricked you all. I deceived you all too in the beginning of the shir. You know why? Because I said, how do we get down to Mitzrayim? Well, you know, God put us there. God didn't put us there. What does the Torah say? Take a look. The farmer, go back to source number 3. Go back to source number 5. Arami Oved Avi, my father is a wandering Armenian. And the people chose Vayir Mitzrayim. God didn't send us to Egypt. We went down to Egypt. And why did we go down to Egypt? Mechirat Yosef. God didn't do anything. We did it all. We are the ones that are responsible. That's what the Torah says. God didn't put us into exile. We put ourselves into exile. We put ourselves into the situation. It was our responsibility. Therefore, we are the only ones, not God, that can take us out or be worthy of being taken out. And that's, I think, what the farmer says. Why is it that we specifically use and fill the midst of Sipur Yisrael Mitzrayim with the farmer? You know why? I think the reason is because this farmer understands. The farmer can say, you know what? I see the hard work. I see the pain. It's paying off. Here's my bikur. Here's my first fruits. Here's the fruit of my labor. I am the fulfillment of Brit Ben Abtarim. Ve'veti ala makom hazeh. We've now come home. Finally. Yes, there was dispersion. Yes, there was tension. Yes, there was strife. Yes, there was brotherly hatred. But if you want to know the secret is the farmer declares, we've made it. God always has a promise. God never gives up on Bnei Yisrael. We could deceive our father. We could sell our own brother. And God could say, I don't give up on you. No matter how bad we are, Hashem's message is, you're bad. You don't treat your brothers properly. You don't treat your father properly. Whether your father is biological or religious or spiritual, your father in heaven, it doesn't matter. I don't give up on you. That is why we choose the farmer. Because the farmer says, look, I have a pomegranate. I have a fruit. God brought us back to the land of Israel. Look at this bounty. Look at this. We've made it. We've done it. We're home. We're settled in the land. We're living here once again. That's the fulfillment. That's the promise. And that is the personality that we identify with, is that farmer who says, you know what, I look back at everything that happened, and we can make it better. Here you go, it can work. I think that's the very powerful idea of the Seder night. The powerful of the Seder night, I think we still have a remnants of today, is we invite people to our Seder. Put such an emphasis on that. Maybe we invite people, or we help people monetarily. We teach about it. We educate people. And because of that, I think it has a tremendous impact. And we say we do care about our brothers and our sisters still. We don't just abandon them. And maybe with that message of the Seder and what Yetziat Mitzrayim is all about, we remind ourselves, how really did we get here? And what will it take for us to truly leave and come back home and to become the nation and to become that people that God promised? But remember, God can promise, but only we can fulfill. I think that is our responsibility, and that ultimately is the really powerful message of Seder night. That just like Hashem, we are beginning right, we're Chodesh Nisan tonight. B'nai Yisrael, we were redeemed. Nigalu, and also Atidim Lehigael. We will be redeemed once again, hopefully very soon during this time, during these moments as we prepare for Pesach and a little bit of exams taking place, and hopefully this will ultimately we'll truly enjoy the real Korban Pesach once again in Yerushalayim, sitting in B'sheket, B'shalva, with peace with all of our neighbors and all of our brothers and sisters together, enjoying the true Korban Pesach. Thank you, everybody, and a great, great semester and a great year. I can't believe it's like over already. There will be things going on throughout the spring and the summer. We'll give you a bit of a break for exams. But take a look. If anyone specifically is interested, if people know their schedule for May, and there's a morning, or there's an evening, or there's an afternoon, I'm pretty flexible. If you want to perhaps figure something out together, I'm more than happy to figure it out.